To be honest, it did have its perks. I like that. I like going to Miami for the weekend and all of these things, going to exotic locations for vacation. But the man said to me, I cannot leave him. And he proceeded to lock me up in the house the Friday evening, take my phone and throw it into the wall so I couldn't call anybody. And I could not leave the house. I was locked up until I reconsidered leaving him.
Hi, it's Yasmin Abdelahad from the Jamaican Experience with Yaz, where I bring you a Jamaican experience that transcends sand, sea, and sensimilia. Thank you for clicking on this video. If you're new here, welcome. This channel is about all things Jamaican. So if you like the video, leave us a thumbs up, share, and subscribe for more great content like this. Also, you can follow me on Instagram at Yazzle. So this week, I have another co-host. I'm here with my friend Sheree.
Hi.
And this week we are talking about dating in Jamaica, dating experience in Jamaica. So we're having a bit of a girl chat over some nice, what am I having?
I don't even remember what that is, but I'm having a mojito.
Yeah, she's having a mojito. I'm having a soda water with lemon.
Ah, yes.
Don't say boring, okay?
Boring. But hey.
Okay, so we're talking about dating in Jamaica. First, I wanted to say, you know, sometimes you're reading online and you see them talking trash about Jamaican men and the experience dating in Jamaica. So I kind of wanted to delve some more into that topic to find out, is it really true? To find out from Sheree, you know, what's been her experience? Is she dating? You know, like what's it been like? Right, all of that. So let's get into it. So Sheree,
Yes.
What has been your experience so far? You know, dating. Have you been dating Jamaican men?
I have been dating Jamaican men. Primarily, I have ventured outside of Jamaica, but yes, I have dated Jamaican men, and there's some pros, but there are also some cons. So some of those things you hear about Jamaican men are indeed true from my experience.
Some of the things like, okay, they are cheaters, they just want to take woman money, you know, they lie. I mean, has that been your experience? I mean, I'm sure, let's just disclaimer, this obviously does not apply to all Jamaican men. There are some amazing Jamaican men, I'm sure, but we're talking about, you know, her experience from a female perspective, because she is female, yeah, right? So from your perspective, you know, having dated in Jamaica, yeah, what are some of the pros? Because you said there were pros and cons.
Dating Jamaican men for me is good because of my culture. I'm Jamaican, so I would want to date someone who understands me as a person, my Jamaican culture, my Jamaican heritage. So while I've dated persons of other nationalities, there's always this bit of a conflict, I would say, when it comes to our culture. I remember going to Carnival one year and this man did not understand that, you know, the gyrating and carrying on meant nothing, is just Carnival. Versus in
he thought it was like, you know, too much.
So I posted a video on my Instagram and he promptly messaged me to say, look, what is going on here?
Wow.
So I find that dating a Jamaican man, they understand more of the culture and certain things that we have. As a people as well, we tend to be a little bit aggressive. So dating a Jamaican man, you understand that there's a little bit of aggression that comes with our culture. So if I say something to you in a particular tone, they don't necessarily take it as offensive as other cultures. So that is a pro.
That's a big point. Language, because there are some things that you can only say to another Jamaican or somebody who understands the culture and the language, that for them to really get it. Other than that, it falls flat. So that's a big one. So what are some of the cons though? Like,
okay, well, wow, I have had, I wouldn't want to say an extensive dating history, but I've dated I don't like to date multiple people at the same time, but I also wanted to ensure that whatever relationship I was going into was the right one for me, and I will want to qualify dating.
Yeah.
For me, dating is we go out, we have some drinks, we have dinner, we get to know each other. It's not any intimacy, so I don't want anybody over here going, oh, you dated around, oh my gosh, you are such a, skank hoe. Okay, but that's not what I mean. I mean dating someone, just getting to know them without any intimacy attached, and then you take it to another phase. So it's more like courting, I would say.
I love courting. I love the idea of courting. I think courting is, that's the way, because I know this is not everybody's perspective, but I think there's some amount of getting to know each other that is important before you get to know each other intimately, more intimately.
Yes. You Jamaican men, the ones watching this video right now, y'all are crazy. That's the first thing I want to say. Y'all need to get it right. And yes, there are
some the few that are married and stable and
right.
I'm
getting to them, right? Because I am currently in a relationship with somebody right now that is amazing.
That's
amazing, super consistent. All of my non-negotiables, thank you very much. So I'm happy about that, but getting to this point has been a struggle, to say the least. So you mentioned something about dating for money. So I know there's a misconception or something that women are gold diggers and so on and so forth, but you have gold digging men too. So I've dated guys who may end up turning around, well, one in particular in my younger days, may end up mind him to, like, sorry to say, you might look on me wrong, but all of a sudden, because I am established in a particular type of job or whatever the case is, all of a sudden now him quit him job and tell me say he got fired, which he really didn't when I found out at the end of it. And all of a sudden,
hold on. He quit his job, like actually a grown man decided they're gonna leave their job, so that you can take care of him.
So that, but I didn't know at the time. Maybe I was just stupid or whatever. I don't know. But
in love,
or maybe stupid in love, I don't know. But here we are talking to this guy, and all of a sudden he said one day, he got fired from his job, some disagreement with his boss. Months later, I found out that was not the case, and he actually quit. Then when I started sending him things to apply to, oh, these are not the right fit, etc. And here I am, young in love. I'm not gonna leave my boyfriend high and dry. So of course I started helping him.
There's that old saying, what do you call it? Ride or die.
Ride or die. I'm not riding or dying with nobody.
Like first of all, why do you need to die? Okay.
We're not riding or dying to anywhere. Not anymore. Not this version of me. So anyways, so I am here. I started helping him with his bills, started helping him to the point where all the service the man car. He will come, oh, he needs money to service his car and all of these things. And I'm like,
but here's the thing about holding down your man. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I think there's an appropriate place in a relationship that is done. And that's, for me, that's not at the boyfriend stage, and certainly not in the initial boyfriend stage. That is like, let's say you're in a long-term committed relationship. You're not married, but you're in a committed relationship. That's different. Of course, you can hold down your man.
But
in a like a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship.
Boyfriend-girlfriend. I was young. I was like 22, 23. I was young.
He was taking advantage.
He was taking advantage.
He was older.
He was older. He was taking advantage, and then on top of that, he turned around and cheated. So
that's something you see a lot online. They actually say that a lot online, and I know it happens, but to actually hear, because I didn't hear it, you didn't tell me that story before, so that's crazy that actually happens.
Right, he really was taking advantage, and I was young and I was in love. Here was this man, nice looking man, older, established, or so I thought. But then, people portray themselves however they would like to, and then all of a sudden he took me for a ride financially. I was giving him money and all of these things. But that's not gonna happen again. So babe, unless we're married, that ain't happening. So sorry.
That, I think, sometimes affects us women, like you hear it is that you have this really bad experience and it kind of shapes the way that you move forward.
It really does.
Because here you could probably genuinely come up with a nice man, you know, and something happen and you kind of need to, you know, help him out. But you're kind of thinking about all those times that you've been taken advantage of, and you kind of say, I don't know.
But here's my thing. I'm not opposed to helping you. So I'm in a relationship now. So if my boyfriend comes to me and he needs anything, of course I'm going to help him. But that is a one-off thing. What I'm talking about here with the experience that I'm speaking about specifically is somebody who is not working or bringing anything to the table, and he expects now that I'm going to be the source of income for him because he had no other source of income.
And you don't have kids.
I mean, I have one kid like over here. So I said, boy, I was so dumb. Now that I'm looking back, I think about it.
It's not dumb. Like you have little boyfriend and girlfriend situation, but then you have like your first serious relationship, and then so it's probably something like that, and then you know, some of these guys are so good. They're like.
They're con artists. They're not con artists.
Con artists, that's the appropriate term.
That is really what it is, because he was over here in a full-on relationship with somebody else at the same time too.
Oh, he quit his job so he could spend more time with her.
Maybe he had a hard time juggling both. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a full-time job, you know. To have to be lying to one woman and trying to explain your time, and it's a full-time job.
Right. Other experiences that I have had. In terms of infidelity in the relationship, that tends to be something that I have come to realize is very popular here, and I'm sure it doesn't go for everyone, but I find that Jamaican men, unless they're ready to settle down, and a lot of them wait until they're much older in life to want to settle down and have a family, and women
is it unique to hear? I think it's the part of the world that we're in.
Maybe Western.
I don't know if it's so much because there's this culture of fun. It's just that the standard for women is different from the standard for men. So I don't know who they expect that these men are having fun with.
The other spectrum of this now is after I had that experience with the guy that I had to be financially assisting, I decided I didn't want to talk to any more men that didn't have money or enough for themselves. Not necessarily for me, but it would be nice to just talk to somebody that was well off, that had me
comfortable, and you don't have to think about,
you know, who doesn't like weekend trips and all of these things, you know, and the nice gifts and stuff. So that was where I went to next. And to be honest, it did have its perks. I like that. I like receiving the random gifts and the flowers and the nice treatment, and going to Miami for the weekend and all of these things, going to exotic locations for vacation. It was great. I didn't have to worry about my bills or anything. Wonderful. But here's the caveat. My experience, and this doesn't apply to everybody, it's just me, those men became very controlling. So now I have to be explaining my whereabouts all the time. They want to know everything that I'm doing at every hour of the day. They are very jealous. So if they see me talking to anybody else that's not them, is all of a sudden who that's. Oh, me never hear about the friend who you're on the phone with and all of these things, searching off the phone as well.
Oh, hold on. You have big man a search phone?
Big man, a search phone. Yes.
That's so weird.
So they're this weird, like why? Who has the time? And then the most out of the way experience I had with that was this guy that I was talking to for a few months. We officially got into a relationship after a few months of the dating phase, and then I realized that something was a bit off about him. This relationship did not serve me. So I said, you know what, let me get out. So I went to his apartment or his house the evening to tell him that, you know, I'm breaking things off. The man said to me, I cannot leave him, and he proceeded to lock me up in the house the Friday evening, take my phone and throw it into the wall so I couldn't call anybody. And I could not leave the house. I was locked up until I reconsidered leaving him. It was not until the Monday when the helper came to the house that she assisted me with escaping, because that's really what I had to do.
Wait, so if you said that you changed your mind, you weren't going to leave him, he would have... You don't know.
I don't know.
Wait,
we never got to that
this
point.
Guy locked you in the house and
Locked me
leave
in the
like
house. No, he was there. He was in the house with me for the entire weekend. So I went to the other outside of the house to sleep the night because I decided I wasn't sleeping over where he was. And he came to me and he said, oh, so you're over here. You're just making things worse for yourself. Jesus Christ.
No, here's the thing that I don't understand about these situations. Are you seriously comfortable being in a relationship with a woman that you have to control? Like, are you seriously comfortable? Like, that's obviously is not love. It's some sort of weird fetish or obsession or you know, some kind of, because I don't know what else to say. You know, it's kind of like all those psycho people who lock up people in a house. Because other than that, I mean, what do you get out of a relationship that you have to force?
I don't know. I can't say what they get out of it, but I feel like maybe
well, if you're a guy and you know why a guy, even if not saying that you've been in that situation, why a guy would do something like that, you put it in the comments below, because I would really love to know from a guy's perspective. yeah, like what do you get out of controlling a woman? Like, are you comfortable having that person, calling that person your woman, that you have to literally control them and force them on you?
It's good to talk to somebody that have the means.
It's good to be, you know, it's good to be equals.
It's good to be.
It's good to be equals, and that's our, you know, obviously equals don't mean you're making exactly the same amount in exactly the same type of job, but equals where equals in education, equals, you know, intellectually compatible. Equals, you know, in terms of finance, as you said, in terms of lifestyle, we're in terms of even upbringing is a part, you know, because sometimes you were raised a certain way with certain values, and then you pick up somebody who
that is so true. And it's, I mean, the Bible speaks about being equally yoked.
Well, the Quran talks about that too. So that's why I say you can go ahead and talk, because really, you know, it talks about that too. It doesn't say equally yoked, but it's the same equivalent.
Right.
Basically, you can't have somebody, as I mentioned before, where they're not even past elementary and you got a university, you're a professor or something, and then how does that work? That don't work. And the same thing with finance and upbringing, and finance less so if everything else fits, you know, unless of course, especially with the man, because most men still to this day cannot handle a woman that makes more, because a woman that makes more behaves differently, and a woman that she's confident and she knows that she got this, she knows that you're an option. Right. She knows that she need you. She wants you, she don't need you. And so when men feel like that, you know, worse if she goes out and she take the check, or he feels nothing is wrong if she goes out and take the check. It's when she goes out and he knows he can't take the check. Right. You know, or you want to go to an expensive restaurant to eat and he can't afford it. You know, so there's so many little.
I am 32 now, so dating people who are in my age group thereabout, you find that they don't necessarily earn as much money as I do from their day jobs, at least. So that tends to be a big insecurity that I have found in my last few years of dating. So it took me a while to find somebody that wasn't intimidated by my position, wasn't intimidated by my salary, and so on, because I wanted to date somebody and be in a relationship with somebody that was close to my age and not talk to older men like I was doing for the past.
10 years is good though.
10 years is good.
Yeah.
But then I also wanted to talk to somebody that never had any kids before. I had a few things, which was narrowing the amount of candidates that I could entertain.
Because you see with the kids, there's the baby mama drama.
Right, I never wanted
or even if there's no drama, it's still a reality.
Yeah, I never
you know, and then there is the and the kids too, you know, where if the kids don't like you, that's another thing.
There are so many variables when you have kids or an ex-wife or a baby mother that you have to put into place, that I never really wanted to deal with any of that. I wanted someone that I could build a life with together, and we grew.
The flip side is that when a woman hears what the guy does, it's like, ooh, money. You know, like that's the flip side.
Yeah, but when you have a guy that is you know, maybe not as in a position that you are, then they go, oh, maybe this woman is too independent for me.
Yeah, or
maybe
can't
it's because
afford
I think
her
that,
something.
or I can't afford her, or why you'd want to talk to somebody like me.
She has so many other stories, but just based on what we've heard now, Sherry, what are some of the things that you would what are some of the red flags to look out for if someone is out there on the dating scene? What are some of the red flags that they would look out for?
Okay, well, the first thing that you have to look out for as a woman dating is to ensure that you know what it is you want out of the relationship. So it's not just about having a list of red flags to look out for. It is, what is your purpose for dating? Is it just somebody to like a fling, or are you looking for a committed relationship?
Good point.
What I would also say is to write a list. If you're looking for your life partner, write a list of non-negotiables, things that you do not want to walk back on at any point. The person must come with these things. For me, having a solid financial, and in terms of kids, if we're planning to have kids, how we plan to raise those kids, the values that we want to instill in them. So I wrote an extensive list, and then what I did as well was I looked on myself as a person to say what type of man would want to date me, right?
That's an important one, because next time we look on what's out there, what we want,
Right.
but what are we bringing
What
to the
are
table
we
as
bringing
well?
to the table?
Yeah.
And you can be the most successful woman, the most articulate, most beautiful, sexy, hot woman in the world. But what are you truly bringing to our relationship? Because it is something that is a dual role. It takes work, and it's something that you have to definitely work on as an internal level. So I started working mainly on my purpose in life and focusing on that, and allow my purpose to guide me, and then the right man comes along to fit into the purpose, right? So I really split it. So instead of looking for a man and trying to find my husband, I started working on me, and that allowed me to attract somebody into my life that was aligned with that, right?
That sounds great. So basically, there is no red flags, so to speak.
There
because
are a few.
There are a few.
There are a few red flags that you still have to look out for, because even though you're doing all of this back end work, everybody's not going to be the right fit. So that person that's not right for you might be right for someone else, and you still have to be able to identify what is not for you.
Right. That's a valid point. I've always said it, like, because you're on somebody, when women come out and say, oh, that man was trash or whatever, he may have been trash to you, but to somebody else, he's gold, he's great, he's awesome. So it's really depending on your particular situation, because really some of these guys, you can't believe when other women pick them up and say, wow, they're the best thing ever. You're like,
and maybe it also comes to the time that they are in their lives as well, because you can date somebody this year and the following year they're a completely different person in terms of their values, or you are different as well, and then they bring more to the next relationship that they go into. But in terms of red flags that you have to look out for, one, I'm big on honesty. So if I ask a question and I'm not getting a straight answer and the story twists up, I have an issue with that. So ladies, look out for that from the beginning. Like, just be straight.
It's never change. It's gonna get worse.
So if somebody is lying to you or not giving you a straight story ahead of time, that's a big red flag. Second thing is their integrity. Do they keep their word? If they make a promise, not only just to you but to other people, because these things may not apply to how they deal with you, but you can tell a lot about somebody by how they treat other people, right? So if you find that they are not a man of their word, you find that later on you will see that reflecting in the relationship as well, because your word is your bond.
Yeah, good point.
In terms of spending, so we have a lot of people out in the streets that braff out them money every day.
I always wonder what that even means, because why do you need to do that?
Yeah, like, why you're braff? So you have a lot of persons that portray, men and women, but we're talking about the men today, that portray a particular lifestyle. So you have to also get to the root of the matter. Is this man willing to spend his last on or put himself in debt in order to portray a particular lifestyle? Because that is the type of person that will put you in problem, So you marry this man, them come from foreclose on your house and all of these things. So you have to really look at
or investment of money on road and bills are not paid, and kids need to go to school or whatever that need is, that he's bypassing to go and have fun, or to to look good as street.
Yes.
And that is so common here.
It is very common. You'll be so surprised how many persons I've heard that has happened.
Listen, I used to be in finance, and I'm telling you, don't judge a guy based on his nice car. That is the worst thing you can ever. Just watch him, watch his behavior. Usually, men with money, you can just tell. They don't need to show you so they have money, because they're comfortable. It's not a show off thing. It's not necessary. Men who use the money, and those are the ones they want. You don't want the one but just have money. You don't want the one but use the money. Okay, let's talk about dating or finding love during COVID. Like, can you imagine if somebody's out there now? People are lonely. If you're single as a female, what would you say about trying to find love? And let's say they're in Jamaica, or somebody dating a Jamaican from overseas, long distance. What would you say?
Well, COVID has really caused a lot of us to pivot in many areas. So you have to get creative with dating in COVID, I would say, as you would in any aspect of your life. So you find that businesses have to get more creative in getting customers. So why not you? Like, if this is something that's important to you, if you're already in a relationship, or if you're looking to date, you have to be creative about it. So similar to, let's use the long distance example that you have. You can have a virtual coffee, a virtual date, or something like that. You guys can have dinner. There's a lot of virtual things that are happening. And then you can look forward and anticipate when you next see each other. When I was talking to somebody that was overseas, it was difficult. So we used to always make a big deal out of when we'd next get to see each other. So we downloaded apps that did like a countdown to when we would see each other again, which was really nice, and we really look forward to it, and we had a plan of what it is we wanted to do when we saw each other. So that really helped. With COVID, you may not be able to go out for dinners as much, especially if you don't live with the person, or if you're still in the courting stage. So probably do lunches instead, something light, where you can just go into a nice sanitary area, have a quick lunch,
kind of like where we are now.
Yeah, kind of like where we are.
Or if you're close enough and you're not opposed to having the person over, even if you don't want them, well, that's risky, depending on where you are in the relationship.
It depends.
Because I was just thinking you could sit on a porch or something, but then it depends on where you are in your relationship. Because some of these guys, especially Jamaican guys, they're so pushy. It's like
them want the things them early. So you have to be grounded in your resolve to let them know that, look, this is my stance. I'm not ready for this as yet, because them want the goods. So you have to, and I think that men as well, they respect you a little bit more if you are not
if you're able to
if you're not easy.
But they will not stop pushing. Even if they determine that you're not easy, they will push.
Them are gonna still push. So if you are not at that stage in the relationship, then maybe that's not a good idea. But if you are, say you have been dating for a while and you've already passed that stage, but it's not a case where the relationship is anything long term as yet, then invite the person over and maybe cook a nice dinner, have a nice picnic dinner in the living room or something, a nice candlelight dinner at your table.
Watch the pot, because you don't want to burn it.
Yeah, man. So there's a
first night
so many.
Jamaican men really like their food.
Them like the food. They like women that can cook, and they like women that can pamper them in certain ways. Which is nice. I like doing that. It's really nice to be able to cook
that is nice, but I would say balance it, especially if you haven't had it needs to be balanced, because if you have a partner that can't do household things, it can be really challenging. So when you get into this new relationship and you start doing everything for them and everything, and they think that that's a lifestyle, it can be challenging, because when you have more responsibilities, whether it's work or children or something, it becomes a
don't
burden.
Start something that you can't maintain. So if you start off, whether you're a man or a woman, that you are cooking all the time, doing the most, and you know that is not really you, then the person has that expectation moving forward. So when in the beginning everybody sends their advocate or their alternate personality, I believe in being your most authentic self. Yes, you put your best foot forward, but if I don't cook every day of the week, I'm sorry, I'm not cooking for you every day of the week.
I agree.
There are also men that feel like it's a woman's place to do certain things.
In 2020?
In 2020, they want their woman to be cooking and cleaning and washing and doing all of these things in 2020.
And nothing is wrong with that.
Yeah,
it's about to what extent, because it's about when they get to the point where they think that
it's
you
an
have
expectation.
to do it. You know,
right.
that's really the problem. There's a difference between doing it because you can and you want to, but to feel like, you know, this is something that you have to do as a woman, and if you don't do it, you know, it's a big thing and it's a deal breaker for the relationship. Okay.
Yeah, and and then maybe they do have a woman that doesn't do that, but then them go and have a side chick that can do it, so that they have that thing on the side. But for me,
they don't get side chicks for that. They get side chicks for other things.
No,
the side chick not do that. Side chick would not share the man.
Yes, but they would find a side chick. No, so on the flip side, the wife is the one cooking and cleaning and taking care of the kids, but them want a little excitement and all of these things because she's tired of doing those things throughout the course of the day. So them go find a side chick for that.
Wow. So like there's just so much to balance, you know, this man-woman relationship. But you know, that's it in a nutshell. You've heard from Sherry, you've heard some of her experiences. Some of the things that you hear out there about Jamaican men, you know, are true, but some of them really aren't, because there are some great men here. Harder to find, but there are some. Also, you've heard, don't look for red flags per se, just judge each case on a case-by-case basis. Have your own standards that you set for yourself and what you want out of the relationship, and just go by that. And also, if you're dating in COVID right now, just get creative, as Sherry said. Get creative about how you're gonna do it, because the reality is life's still a keep.
Yeah.
Right? So Sherry, anything else that you want to say to our viewers?
What I will say is dating Jamaican men isn't all bad. I know there are a lot of misconceptions there. There are some wonderful men here, and my preference is dating Jamaican men. So don't let any of what you hear deter you. The important thing is finding the right person for you, because you might find somebody who isn't right for you, but that person is right for somebody else. So just look at what it is that you really want out of the relationship and see if this person is the right person to give it to you. But yeah, I'm sure you can find a good Jamaican man.
You can.
Yeah.
Just look hard. Okay. If you like the video and you want to see more content like this, type yes in the comments below. Also, if you like the video, remember to leave us a thumbs up, share, and subscribe for more great content like this. We upload videos every week, so hit that notification bell and you'll never miss a video when we upload. Thank you for watching, and remember, Jamaica is not just a place, it's an experience. Hi! Remember to look in the camera here. All things Jamaican. So if you like the Sherry, I can't come here.
I'm
I'll do that again.
sorry.
Look for yourself.
Sorry. Well,
hold on. You have big man a search
big
phone?
man a search phone.